Record. Perfect. All right. So good morning, everyone. So today's Zoom hopefully won't be too long. We're just going to go over the new structure that we're going to do for assessments, and this will apply to August as well. And we'll do another review in August just to refresh everybody on the process. And we may change up the questions in August. Not 100% sure, but when we get there, we'll figure it out. So first thing that we want to go over is that assessments will be coming out on the 1st. The email will go out, but we're asking that people not actually do them until February 7th and 8th. And we're going to schedule specific people on those days so we can track when people are doing them and we can pay them to get them done. We will ask that people do them from home, and anyone who's unable to do that for internet issues, if they don't have a laptop or any device big enough to actually get it done, we can set up time for them to come to the office and do that. I'm going to mute people. If you're not muted, go ahead and mute yourself. Mark, you're not muted. I'm going to mute you. So the idea of this is just to give everyone a fair opportunity to sit down and really put some thought into their assessment and not feel like they have to be sitting on a job site and give like one word or one sentence answers just to get through it. Any questions on this or anything, please go ahead and throw it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask questions as we go. So I just put a quick sample in here of Monday. Maybe Monday we do project tree and sales, and then on Tuesday we do recurring, which would include CCL, garage, and office as well. And this, again, this is just a sample, but this is something that I'm looking at just structuring with the department heads as well as the schedulers to get this done. The following week, the following 3 days after the 7th and 8th will be when supervisors are given time by their department heads to sit down and do the assessments for each of their employees. The amount of time that you're given will be based on the number of employees that you have underneath you that you need to do assessments on. And it can be broken up into a few hours a day. Some of you have a lot of people to get through just because we're not ready to kind of push this onto the crew leaders yet. So if you have 10 or more people, I wouldn't recommend sitting down and doing all 10, because by the time you get to that last person, you're fried, you're probably not giving it your best, and they're not going to get the best feedback from you. So break it out to like 2 or 3 people a day and get it done over the 3 days. If we have snow days during any of this week, right now, we do not, we will just schedule for the following week and push the following week off another week. So the following week, from the 14th to the 18th, will be the time that we actually sit down and have face-to-face conversation with our employees. We can do this in the office. Obviously, what I don't want, again, is having people sitting in a truck and trying to type out quick 5-second responses and having quick conversations because we've got to get on the job. That's not how assessments are supposed to work. So we will be scheduling time in the office or at CCL. We'll find some time in the facility where we can really dedicate time to employees. And we will assign different supervisors to come in on different days so that we can designate offices for them to bring their employees into and have private conversations with them. Again, the snow date would be the following week if we need to. And if you need a department head or you need an HR representative there, me, even potentially Jamie, depending on the position, let us know ahead of time, usually by the 10th of the previous week, so that we're able to schedule our time with you, because we also have our own assessments to do. So keep that in mind. And I am 100% willing to sit in as many assessments as I possibly can, particularly for those who may have serious career progression that we want to put together, or people that you may be challenged with and you just need some coaching on how to work through some of those tougher conversations in the assessment. All assessments will be completed no later than February 25th. That is our goal. So I'm just going to go quickly over the assessment. I know this is probably really difficult for you guys to read if you're on a phone, but we have our standard questions that we cannot change in Bamboo HR. As much as we try to get them to just reword them a little bit or change them, they're always going to be there, at least for this one. So how well does the company recognize my value? And then you put in, if they get another job offer, what would you do? They have the question of what would have the greatest impact on their ability to do their best work more often. And then how engaged is so-and-so at work, and then you rate them. And then the final two are, what are some things they do well, and what are some things they can improve on? The standard questions. And when you're going through the open-ended questions, it's really important that you put a lot of thought into what you're actually writing. Again, showing up on time, great attitude, and just leaving it at that, that's not a good assessment. A good assessment involves a lot of thought and a lot of consideration of how did the last 6 months go for this person. So the new questions that we have on the assessment, the employee has, list 2 to 3 things you will focus on in the next 6 months to help you grow and develop in your role. And what do you need from us to support your efforts? On the supervisor side, list 2 or 3 things you feel they should focus on in the next 6 months to help them grow and develop in their role. And then listen to the employee's response and ask follow-up questions. Take notes of the items the employee needs from the company and set goals in Bamboo HR using the SMART goal setting standards. I'm not training that today, but if anyone has not seen the Bamboo HR goals or doesn't understand what a SMART goal is, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to set up some time with you. If there's a group of you, we'll get together and I can go over those things with you. But this is a really important piece in the assessment, is that listening. During an assessment, the manager should not be the one doing most of the talking. It should be the employee. We should be giving them feedback and taking notes. The second new question, list up to 3 things you have done in the last 6 months to support BLC policies. Please state which policy and the specifics on how you supported it. It's really important that people put a lot of thought into this. I've already had someone reach out to me when I sent out the preview questions and asked me, where can I find the policies so that they can review them and determine which ones they've really upheld. And then for the supervisor, list some BLC policies that you've witnessed the employee supporting over the past 6 months. And please state which ones specifically and how they supported it. And then the final new question is, if you could change one thing about the company, what would it be? And what impact do you feel the company would have, oh my dear Lord, what impact do you feel it would have on the company if you were able to actually change that? And on the supervisor side, all I want you to do is listen, engage, ask questions, peel the onion. If there's something that comes up and you're like, wow, this may actually work, dig deeper into that and then take that feedback and give it to your department head so that we can start potentially working on it. In the assessment, when you're doing it, because this portion is a listen only, you don't have to write anything. You do need to put NA or the assessment won't let you move on. You've got to have something in that box to move to the next section and to close out the assessment. Yep, they're already in Bamboo HR. Some other stuff that we're going to go over while the assessment is up. Please take a couple minutes to go through the employee's email to make sure it's correct. I'm finding out that there are some employees who have a .blc@gmail.com that Deb had set up when they got their phones. And so we enter that into Bamboo HR, but they don't even look at that email. They had no idea it even existed. So I'm sending out announcements and they've never seen a single announcement I've sent out. So please verify which email they're actually checking and making sure that that's their main email. If they're not using the at gmail.com that has the .blc in it, just delete it. And that way it's not in there. And then Bamboo HR won't default to sending it to that. Also, please just click on their emergency contact tab and make sure that they have at least one contact there. I have had to make 2 calls in the years that I've been in HR to someone's emergency contact. And if that information is missing, I have no way of letting their loved ones or whoever it is that they want to know that they're in the hospital and incapacitated in that moment. The next thing that we want to do is prepare our crew leaders to complete team member assessments in August. So when you're sitting with the crew leaders who do have somebody that works underneath them as a crew member, it's important to have the conversation, look, coming in August, you're going to be the one doing this for your team members. And the reason we need to do that is because Bamboo HR should be an accurate reflection of our org chart. And right now, it's just a reflection of who does the assessments. So in order to get that accurate org chart, we really need to start involving our crew leaders in this process. Number one, it's part of their responsibility. And number two, it's going to take some pressure off all of you, especially again, those ones that have like up to 10 people to do. That's way too many for one person to deal with. It's a lot of work, especially in August when we're busy. You're not going to have the time. And we're trying to eliminate that. We're trying to take pressure off of people this coming year. So, and prepare yourself and crew leaders to start doing scheduled documented PARs with your crew members once a month in Bamboo HR. So if you need help doing this, we will, but I'm going to be totally overseeing this entire thing. We have said PARs are so important. And yet when we start in the season, everyone's like, I talked to them for 5 minutes on a job. That's not a PAR. And we're going to be adding some questions to the PAR as well. So what I'd like to see everyone do, from supervisors to crew leaders, department heads, even myself, is to sit down, look at the number of employees that you have, and every week pick X amount of employees so that once a month you're sitting down and having a formal PAR. And you may say, you know what, I'm going to do this every Tuesday from 8 a.m. until noon. And I'm going to sit with 2 people. It shouldn't take that long with 2 people, 15, 20 minutes each. So 2 people, you'll set aside an hour from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And you're going to make sure that they've put something into Bamboo, and you're going to make sure that you're putting stuff in Bamboo and that you're documenting any conversations that are happening, any progress that they made. This is a great touch point to go into that goals portion of Bamboo HR and update it as they've progressed each month through their goals. And then you have an accurate record when you go into August to say, well, look what you've accomplished over the last 6 months, because it's documented. Under files in Bamboo HR is where you will find those new PAR questions. I haven't put it there yet, so don't go looking quite yet. I just want to refine them a little bit before we start using them. They will not be in Bamboo HR. And the reason for that is that it's already difficult enough in Bamboo HR to see the PAR that we have. If I add more questions, it's just going to get tinier and really difficult to type into. So we can just use that as a note taker. Oh, I didn't, sorry about that. I didn't see the, please mute him. So that's basically it for this morning. If you guys want to open your mics, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, this is the time to ask. I've got Andrew and Mark on the phone as well. So, you know, we've got strong exec team representation here to work through any concerns that you may have about this process. Any piece of it.
Angie, are we doing this all like the face-to-face that you said that was the February 14th, 18th? Are we just sitting there with Bamboo open with the person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So they should have already had their portion done. So when you pull up Bamboo, you'll see both their answers and your responses. And Bamboo HR now has, when you open your employee's assessment, above on the top, it says additional notes, and you can take all the notes you want in there.
Oh, okay.
So it's a great point though, Sarah. I'm glad you brought that up to remind me of that. So as you're going through the assessment, anything the employee talks about, put in that additional notes. If you have directive to give them, anything like that, and then you can go back and put it into the goals portion.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to be doing is setting up a meeting, or I'm going to send out an announcement. Again, I know people aren't seeing my announcements, so I may try the new, oh, many of you don't know. BLC now has a mass texting software that we're using for text alerts, because we're finding that a lot of people aren't email oriented anymore. That's Gen X, and Gen Z and millennials are more text driven. So we have purchased a mass texting alert system. So what I may try for the first time is sending out a mass text, just reminding people that we will be scheduling PARs. And when they get the email on the first, they don't need to go in and to complete it at that time. So just be aware of that. So if you get a funky text from an 800 number for BLC, it's me texting everybody. And just warn people if they're like, is this real? And I will put it's Angie from BLC, so people at least hope they know, I hope that they understand that it's actually me, and I'm sure they'll text back. So any other questions? Fantastic. Well, I hope you all have a fantastic day. I have recorded this and I'll send it out. Oh, hold on, just kidding. Is that who can see your messages? I don't know if that came from somebody or if that, no. Oh, just thank yous. Thank you, guys. All right, have a great day and a fabulous weekend. Be safe this weekend. Sorry, Derek.